1900 years before the Common Era, the fate of the Hellenistic world hangs in the balance. In the shadow of Mount Sipylus, two great empires, the might of Rome and the vast Seleucid Empire, prepare for war. What unfolds next is a clash that will, honestly, redefine power in the ancient world. In the early 2nd century before Christ, Rome had emerged from the Second Punic War as the dominant force in the Western Mediterranean. Meanwhile, to the east, the Seleucid Empire under Antiochus III was expanding its reach, clashing with rising Roman interests. Antiochus the Great, king of the Seleucid Empire, had dreams of restoring the glories of Alexander's empire. After victories in the east, he turned his gaze westward. And that brought him face to face with Rome. The Roman Senate dispatched consul Lucius Cornelius Scipio to deal with the threat, with none other than his brother, the famed Scipio Africanus, at his side. The Seleucids crossed the Hellespont into Thrace, claiming old Achaemenid lands, but their ambitions were checked by a rising Greek resistance, and Rome was, honestly, ready to intervene. After failed negotiations and growing hostilities, war was inevitable. Antiochus fortified Asia Minor while the Roman armies marched east. Rome was not alone. It formed a coalition with allies like Pergamon and Rhodes. King Eumenes II of Pergamon was particularly instrumental, providing crucial cavalry and intelligence. Together they crossed into Asia Minor. The decisive confrontation loomed near the ancient town of Magnesia at Sipylum. The Seleucid army was massive, up to 70,000 men. Their core was the feared Macedonian phalanx, supported by scythed chariots, cataphracts, Galatian mercenaries, and, over 50 war elephants. The Romans, with about 30,000 troops, including allied Pergamene cavalry, relied on maneuverable infantry and battlefield adaptability. Quality would be tested against quantity. The battlefield stretched along the Hermus River, with the Sipylus Mountains in the distance. The Seleucids formed a massive line, chariots on the flanks, elephants at intervals, and a dense phalanx center. Rome's formation was more compact. Eumenes commanded the left flank, Roman cavalry on the right. The legions awaited the order to strike. The morning of battle came. A cold fog lifted from the plain. War drums echoed from the Seleucid side. Eumenes struck first. He launched a surprise attack on the Seleucid scythed chariots, knowing their instability. Panic spread. The Seleucid flank buckled. With the chariots neutralized, Eumenes wheeled into the enemy flank. On the right, Roman cavalry engaged Seleucid horsemen. In the center, the Seleucid phalanx advanced, an unstoppable wall of spears. The Roman legions, despite being outnumbered, used agility to flank and disrupt. Meanwhile, Seleucid war elephants created chaos even among their own ranks. As the elephants panicked and trampled their own troops, cracks formed in the Seleucid lines. Scipio seized the moment. The Roman center surged forward, supported by flanking maneuvers. Antiochus tried to rally his cataphracts, but it was too late. Disorder spread. His once grand army was unraveling before his eyes. The Seleucid lines collapsed. Antiochus fled the field with a handful of cavalry. Thousands of Seleucid troops were cut down. The Roman victory was total. Over 50,000 Seleucid troops lay dead or captured. Rome and her allies had dealt a devastating blow. The Treaty of Apamea soon followed. Antiochus had to surrender his navy, pay heavy tribute, and withdraw from Asia Minor. Rome now dominated the eastern Mediterranean. The Battle of Magnesia marked the end of the Seleucid expansion and the beginning of Rome's influence over Hellenistic politics. It was the beginning of the end for the Hellenistic age, and honestly, a clear signal that Rome was not just a Mediterranean power. It was the Mediterranean power. Military historians study Magnesia as a masterclass in adaptability. The Roman legion proved superior to the phalanx, not because of strength, but because of strategy. The battle also demonstrated the danger of relying on exotic units like elephants and chariots without cohesion. Rome had mastered the art of integration, of tactics, and of allies. The fields of Magnesia lie silent today, but in 190 BC they echoed with the clash of empires. One side dreamed of restoring Alexander's glory. The other forged a new empire from its ruins.